أهلا وسهلا. Welcome back to Learn Arabic. I hope you are doing well. We are still talking about Hamzatul Wasl, and the focus today is on Hamzatul Wasl and the definite article al. Before diving directly into our new lesson, let's begin with a quick recapitulation. Hamzatul Wasl is a word initial Hamza that looks like an alif with a small fish-like symbol atop of it. Hamzatul Wasl can only appear at the beginning of words. You will never see Hamzatul Wasl at the middle or the end of a word. Since Hamzatul Wasl is a word initial Hamza, the question that arises here is, what makes it different from Hamzatul Qat'? Well, other than its spelling, Hamzatul Wasl also serves different functions when compared to Hamzatul Qat'. In fact, it has two major roles. Number one, it connects the letter before it to the letter right after it. While this connection is made, Hamzatul Wasl is unpronounced but still written. However, when it is used as a starting point, which is the case in today's lesson, the second role of Hamzatul Wasl crops up. In fact, when the reader uses Hamzatul Wasl as a starting point, this letter helps pronouncing words which would otherwise begin with sukoon by providing a temporary short vowel that will create a moving sound and give the reader the ability to start the first syllable. We also highlighted the fact that the choice of this temporary short vowel should abide by rules pertaining primarily to the grammatical function of the word carrying Hamzatul Wasl. Since Hamzatul Wasl can appear at the beginning of the definite article al, or at the beginning of certain nouns, or at the beginning of certain verbs, we are going to analyze all of these three options during this series. However, the focus today is going to be on the first case, which is nothing but Hamzatul Wasl and the definite article al. Fear not, we are going to keep things as simple and as uncomplicated as possible. So, without any further ado, let's begin our new lesson by defining what the definite article al is all about. Right. When it comes to the Arabic language, there is two ways to change an indefinite noun into a definite one. It could be by adding the definite article al as a prefix, or by associating a definite noun or possessive pronoun to it, i.e., by forming something called إضافة or possessive construction. Considering the fact that we are teaching a beginner level, we are going to focus only on the first option, which is nothing but the usage of the definite article al, and postpone going into detail about إضافة and the possessive construction to the right time. On a side note before starting, if you still struggle with the indefinite nouns, feel free to check our series Tanween, Sign of Indefiniteness. The link is on the screen. With that out of the way, let's discover what the Arabic definite article is all about. As a matter of fact, there is only one form of the definite article in the Arabic language, irrespective of the gender or the number of the word being defined, and that is al. This definite article is the combination of Hamzatul Wasl and the letter lam with sukoon. It is the equivalent of the article the in the English language. This definite article is added as a prefix to noun and adjectives as a sign of definiteness. Kindly note that the definite article al is always prefixed to words. This particular detail cannot be overstated, So again, the definite article al is not an independent word. Therefore, it is always prefixed to the word it's defining. Let's now focus on the function of this new article. The sole function of the definite article al is to render the noun or adjective to which it is attached definite. For example, the word kitabun can be made definite by prefixing it with al, resulting in al-kitabu. One more time, al-kitabu. Now, if you have a keen eye, you will notice that the tanween at the end of the word disappeared. Even though this is a very important detail, please let me push it back for a couple of minutes, because all I want you to do at this stage is to listen carefully to my pronunciation, since it is a decisive factor in what's coming. So here we have a couple of definite nouns. Listen up, please. Al-waladu, al-jamilu, al-bintu, al-qawiyu. Can you hear the fatha sound at the beginning of each word? Al-waladu, al-jamilu, al-bintu, al-qawiyu. Now, if you focus on the spelling, you will notice that all of these words begin with Hamzatul Wasl, since the definite article al prefixed to them is nothing but the combination of Hamzatul Wasl and the letter lam with sukoon. And if you still remember, we mentioned in our previous lesson that when the reader uses Hamzatul Wasl as a starting point, a temporary short vowel is associated to it. So the question here is, what is the rule for the short vowel associated to Hamzatul Wasl of the definite article al? Is it always a fatha like the previous examples? Well, the good news is there is only one scenario when it comes to the temporary short vowel that comes with Hamzatul Wasl of the definite article, and that is always a fatha, no exceptions. So again, the temporary short vowel provided by Hamzatul Wasl at the beginning of the definite article al is always a fatha. And it makes sense since it is called al, not il or ul. I hope you've got the hang of it. Let's now see how do we transform an indefinite noun into its definite version. Making a definite noun can either be a two-stage or three-stage process. For the sake of simplicity, let's begin by explaining the two-stage one. I will reveal the decisive factor in choosing which process to apply down the line, so please don't worry about that. Right. When making a definite noun is a two-stage process, all we have to do is to add the definite article al as a prefix. Then, as a second step, we have to cancel the tanween at the end of the word and replace it by its corresponding single vowel. This second step is crucial. You will never see the definite article al and tanween in the same word, unless someone makes a grammatical mistake. And it makes sense, isn't it? Since tanween is the property of indefiniteness, we cannot apply it at the same time as the definite article. With that in mind, let's try to practice this two-step process. So here we have our indefinite nouns. I'm going to read them first. قمر, وسيم. One more time. قمر وسيم. Let's add the definite article, cancel the tanween and read these words again. Listen up please. القمر الوسيم. Can you hear the sound of the fatha that comes with Hamzatul Wasl? القمر. So far so good. Now I need your full attention please. The choice of the word القمر was not done randomly. Please keep that in mind. That's on one hand. On the other hand, I'm going to read the definite words that we have just made again. And this time I want you to pay close attention to the fact that the lam with sukoon that comes with the definite article is pronounced, that there is a sukoon written on top of it, and that the sound of the definite article is al, just like its name. I know that this sounds trivial, but please bear with me. You will realize in a couple of minutes how crucial it is. القمر الوسيم. So, again, the temporary short vowel that comes with Hamzatul Wasl of the definite article is a fatha, and the letter lam is pronounced, which makes the definite article sound as its name, al. Kindly note that there is a sukoon written on top of the letter lam. Right. The reason why I'm insisting on these details is the fact that even though the temporary short vowel that comes with Hamzatul Wasl of the definite article is always a fatha, this article is not always pronounced as al. In fact, in certain cases, the letter lam of the definite article is unpronounced, which will make it sound as a instead of al. Fear not, it's very simple. Let's have a concrete example. Here we have the word sun written in Arabic. We do say shamsun. One more time. Shamsun. Again, the choice of this particular example is not random. Please keep that in mind. Let's transform our word into its definite version and see how it is pronounced. Just like the previous examples, we should add the definite article al and cancel the tanween at the end of the word. These two steps are mandatory in all scenarios. Now, before moving on to the pronunciation part, the first difference I would like to draw your attention to is the shadda that has appeared right on top of the letter shin, and the absence of sukoon on top of the letter lam. And that is nothing but our third step mentioned previously. That's on one hand. On the other hand, there is also another difference in terms of pronunciation. Listen up, please. الشمس. One more time. الشمس. As you can hear, the letter lam is unpronounced, which makes the definite article sound as a instead of al. Kindly note that when the letter lam is unpronounced, no diacritic will be written atop of it, i.e., the circle-shaped diacritic representing sukoon is omitted. So again, making a definite noun can either be a two-step process, just like the word al-qamaru, or a three-step process, just like the word ash-shamsu. And the third step is nothing but the addition of the shaddah and the emission of sukoon. Please note that we have combined these two spelling variations into one step because they are related by a phonological process called assimilation. Right. Before discovering the reason behind these differences and which process to apply according to the given word, let's have another example requiring the 3 steps. I really want everything to fall into place. So here we have the word tamrun. One more time. Tamrun. Let's apply the 3 steps and transform it into a definite noun. As usual, we should add the definite article as a prefix, cancel the tanween at the end, put a shadda on top of the first letter coming right after the definite article, and discard the sukoon usually written on top of the letter lam. Listen carefully, please. At-tamru. One more time. At-tamru. As you can notice, the temporary short vowel provided by Hamzatul Wasl is still fatha, whereas the letter lam is dropped pronunciation-wise, which makes the definite article sound as a instead of al. I hope you've got the hang of it. Now, time has come to solve the mystery behind this variation. Do you remember when I said that the choice of the words al-qamaru and ash-shamsu was not done randomly? In fact, the pronunciation of the definite article depends on the first letter coming right after it. The definite article could sound as al or a, and the decisive factor in dropping the pronunciation of the letter lam is the letter coming right after it. Based on the pronunciation of the words al-qamaru and ash-shamsu, the Arabic language scholars divided the alphabet into 2 groups called moon letters and sun letters. For the first group of moon letters, the definite article is pronounced as al, and all you have to do when adding it to the given word is to cancel the tanween at the end of it. Whereas for the second group of sun letters, the definite article is pronounced as a, and beside cancelling tanween at the end of the indefinite noun, we also have to associate a shadda to its first letter. Please note that in this particular case, the letter lam of the definite article is unpronounced but still written. Therefore, we should discard the sukoon usually written atop of it to indicate that it should be unpronounced. That's about it. I hope you've got the hang of it. Now all what is left is to provide you with an exhaustive list of the moon and sun letters, and to also introduce you to a method that will help you tell these letters apart. Right. As mentioned in our very first lessons, the Arabic language has 29 letters, and that's only true if we opt for considering alif and hamza as 2 different letters, which is the path that we have chosen for this course. Now, since the definite article is a prefix, the letter that comes right after it is obviously the first letter of the indefinite noun. If this first letter is a hamza, it will automatically use alif as a chair. The reason why, word initial hamza sits exclusively on an alif, which leaves us with 28 letters. These 28 letters are equally divided into 2 groups, which means that we have 14 moon letters and 14 sun letters. Please bear in mind that this classification is only based on the way each letter affects the pronunciation of the definite article. So here we have what we call moon and sun letters. There is 14 letters on each side. Let's randomly pick a letter from each group. For example, our moon letter will be the letter Kaf, and our sun letter will be the letter Noon. Now, for the sake of diversity, let's pick a noun and an adjective starting with these letters. For example, قراص and نبيل. I'm going to render each word into its definite version. Listen up, please. الكراس الكراس النبيل النبيل. While transforming these words into definite ones, we added the definite article as a prefix and cancelled the tanween for both of them. The extra step of adding shaddah and discarding the sukoon usually written on top of the letter lam of the definite article was only necessary for the word nabilun because it starts with the sun letter. And that will always be the case for nouns and adjectives starting with sun letters. That's it. It's easy, trust me, and it will become even easier with practice and by memorizing moon and sun letters by heart. Speaking of, we've got an easy way to memorize these letters. In such cases, there is a simple yet effective method usually used to help students, and it simply consists on forming a sentence by combining the letters we need to memorize. We are going to combine our moon letters into a sentence, and the rest is a deduction game. In other words, any letter that doesn't belong to this sentence is a sun letter. And the sentence is ابغي حجك وخف عقيمه. It's a mouthful, isn't it? One more time. ابغي حجك وخف عقيمه. As you can see, there is 14 letters in this sentence, and all of them are moon letters. You can take your time and compare our sentence to the list provided earlier. On a side note before ending this lesson, please bear in mind that the main purpose of the sentence is to help you memorize moon letters easily. The meaning is not our number one priority. The reason why, when forming this kind of sentences, it is more like a matching puzzle. No letter of the group should be left behind, and there is no place for intruders, even if they could serve the meaning and make the sentence more meaningful or compelling. So one more time, our moon letters are ابغي حجك وخف عقيمه. That's it. Well done, everyone. That brings us to the end of our lesson about Hamzatul Wasl and the definite article al. We still have one more lesson to go in this series, so stay tuned. شكرا على حسن استماعكم وإلى اللقاء.